Welcome back. We have a knife here. I have no idea what this one is. I'm sure once I get into it, I'll recognize it, but I cannot recall what it is. But I already like what I'm seeing. Oh, yeah. Now I know what this is. Yeah. Cool. This is great. This is Brown Knives LHCX prototype number 3. Oh, LHC it even says on there, which is kind of cool. So I don't know what they changed when what he changed when it was X, but whoa, very nice, very nice. Whoa, what's going on with the? Is that just the? Let me grab something here. The grind looks like it's got like horizontal lines on it, which I don't normally see from him. That'd be very interesting. It looks like it's more of a stone-washed finish, so I don't know what's up with the lines on it. Whew. The usual Brown Knives drop sheddiness, of course. Man. So what's cool about this is oh, that's a problem. I was going to say it has a fuller, whereas a lot of the LHCX didn't, but you almost like can't get to it. Is it like for a left-hander? That's super interesting. You like can't get to it because the lock bar. The lock bar's got this really big gap here. No, I mean, I can't get into it. As I've said many times, there are better knife handlers than me out there, but okay. I see why he did away with the fuller on this model. It is not usable. Overall, very nice looking and very crazy drop sheddy. Let's see if it actually has good lockup. Pretty darn good, like 99%. So you can even just tighten it up a touch. Looks like it's probably a T8. Yep. And then just see. Just as drop shut. Yeah, and now 100% on the lockup. Man, that is pretty sweet. That's cool. That fits into like the overall sort of, I have like kind of two lines of Brown knives that I'm putting together. One of them being more of like these basic textured tie variants, ideally finding versions that are early variants. I really like to be able to get into that fuller though and use it. That's kind of frustrating that I can't figure out how to get that out of there. That's really just not usable. Can you roll this knife out? Ugh, no, at least I can't. Maybe you can. Interesting. Well, this is one of the very early variants. Quite different, actually, than the other LHCXs that I've handled. Some similarities for sure, but let me grab one real quick. There we are. So that's an LHC is what it says on there. This next one's the LHCX. This particular one's a bolster lock version too, which I don't know if they did a lot that were frame locks like this. I don't know if he did a lot of those, but there's some pretty significant changes from one model to the other. The overall handle shape is identical from what I can tell. Pretty much identical. The pivot definitely changed. The lock bar looks very similar. and the over travel stop looks very similar. Obviously a big difference on the pocket clip, and a big difference here on the flipper tab. I actually don't love the new version flipper tab, and I don't know how much, excuse me, you know, that plays into the model name. But there's some similarities for sure, but also some differences how this is squared off here. It's an interesting idea to square it off, but you know, it makes it much more flush against the handle than the older one, which could get caught more. But I just think he took it off a little too much, just a little harder to make it work exactly how you'd expect it to. It's kind of good for like push button, but not as good for like a light switch. Feels a little precarious for the light switch here. Man, if you put any pressure on that lock bar, it's pretty hard to deploy, by the way. And the other thing I'm seeing is the blade shape. It's pretty similar. Sorry, off screen. Definitely a hugely different grind, but the blade shape looks pretty much the same. Different on the choils too. Yeah, interesting model. Interesting one. A lot I like about it, but definitely love a lot of the updates he did on this one for sure. So that's interesting, fascinating. The evolution. This guy, Craig Brown, and the way he evolves his knives is pretty unique, I think, versus what I've seen from other makers. His process very engineer oriented and always improving. Very Kaizen, if you're familiar with the Japanese term for continuous improvement. Very Kaizen indeed. Can't really tell which way this goes. Maybe this way. Doesn't probably matter. But yeah, cool. Good to get to at least handle this one. Definitely cool to see the evolution there. You can see right there, by the way, the milling, which is really pretty fantastic. Which is pretty consistent for Craig Brown. The milling work that he did is just pretty neat over time. Oh wow, look inside there too, with these sort of speed hole looking cutouts. And then there's your Blaine, Washington, USA that he always does. And then that one right there says LHC, which I don't remember if the other one says that. Let me get that guy back out. The other one's, you know, bolster, so it's, you know, probably pretty different. Oh yeah, LHC V2, interesting. Still the same Blaine, Washington. And then on this one, there's no cutouts here because it's really just a tie liner with the bolster. I imagine that would make it pretty challenging, as thin as it already is, to do the cutouts. And the milling inside, yeah, neat little piece of history. A little piece of Brown Knives history here. One of the early prototypes, and definitely excited to have it in the collection and get to handle it and see what it was all about. That's all for now. Please like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.